Hey students, let me ask you something. Have you ever walked outside on a sunny day and noticed the way the light changes everything around you? Maybe the sunlight reflects off water, shines through trees, or makes colors look brighter. For some painters called impressionists, capturing that first impression of a scene was very important. Today we're going to learn about Impressionism, an art movement that began in the late 1800s in Paris. We'll also look at American Impressionism and learn about artists including Mary Cassatt, John Twachtman, and John Sloan. As we go through the lesson, listen for the characteristics that make Impressionist artwork different from other types of art. Before we get started, here's your week at a glance. Make sure that you are looking at your week at a glance every week. Make sure that you are taking your quiz every Thursday. Impressionism was a young art movement that developed in Paris in the late 1800s. One important change was the invention of paint tubes. Paint could now be carried more easily, which allowed artists to take their paints outside and paint what they saw directly. Impressionist artists often painted scenes of modern life. Instead of making every detail perfect, they wanted to capture a quick moment. They used dabs of vibrant color and painted the way the light appeared at that particular moment. Think about taking a picture with your phone. A picture captures one moment in time. Impressionist paintings often tried to do something similar with paint because they didn't have cameras. So, what should you look for when you see an Impressionist painting? First, look for visible brushstrokes. You may actually be able to see individual dabs of paint. Second, Impressionist artists often showed modern life and ordinary activities. Third, they used vibrant colors or soft pastel colors. And finally, they were interested in showing a moment in time, especially the effects of sunlight and changing light. One interesting characteristic is that artists often did not use black for shadows. Instead, they could use colors such as blue, green, and purple to create shadows. So remember, visible brushstrokes, modern life, vibrant or pastel colors, colorful shadows, and a moment in time. Let's look at the American artist Mary Cassatt. Mary Cassatt was an important artist who worked with the Impressionists. In fact, she was the only American artist to exhibit with the French Impressionists. Cassatt liked painting ordinary people in casual, everyday situations. Instead of showing people in stiff, formal poses, she often showed people naturally. Look at her paintings of mothers and children. Her artwork uses vibrant colors and soft pastels. She also used blue, greens, and violets to create shadows instead of relying on gray or black. As you look at Cassatt's artwork, ask yourself two questions. What is the subject or the theme? And can you see the brushstrokes? So let's look at another characteristic. Is the artist using black to create the shadows? The answer is no. Impressionist artists often created shadows using colors such as blue, green, and violet instead of black. This helped create color and lively paintings. Remember, Impressionism is strongly connected to color and light. Let's practice identifying Impressionist techniques. Look closely at this artwork. Can you see dabs of color? You may have to make it bigger. Can you see dabs of color? The answer is yes. Those visible dabs of paint are an important characteristic of Impressionism. Instead of blending every color until the brushstrokes disappear, Impressionist artists often allowed their brushstrokes to remain visible. When you look at an Impressionist painting from close up, you might see individual marks and colors. When you step back, your eyes combine your eyes combine those marks into a scene, if I can talk. Let's look at another characteristic. Is the artist using black to create the shadows? Again, look close. The answer is no. Impressionist artists often created shadows using colors such as blue, green, and violet instead of black. This helped create colorful and lively paintings. Remember, Impressionism is strongly connected to color and light. Let's look at a John Twachtman, an American impressionist. Wow. Schwartzman worked in the American Impressionist style and used loose brushstrokes. His artwork can show a particular moment, such as the transition from winter to spring. This connects to one of our most important Impressionist idea, comparing a moment in time. American artists were inspired by the French Impressionists. A group of 10 American artists formed a group known as the 10, and they were known as the American Impressionists. So let's review what we've learned. American Impressionist artworks often have several important characteristics. They have visual brushstrokes, they depict modern life, they use vibrant or soft pastel colors, they may use blue, greens, or violets for shadows instead of black, and they show a moment in time. These characteristics can help you recognize Impressionist artwork. Okay, look at A and B. Which artwork was done as a means to get paid? It was B. In 1982, John Sloan began working as an illustrator in the department of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Y'all, I missed a slide. Let's briefly talk about John Sloan. John painted in the style of realism, showing life as he saw it rather than making it look ideal or perfect. He focused on ordinary people in everyday life. Sloan was also part of a group that became known as the Ashkin School. Because people weren't buying his paintings, Sloan earned money in other ways, working as an illustrator and a teacher. In 1892, he began working as an illustrator in the art department of the Philadelphia Inquirer. This reminds us that artists can have different jobs and different ways of making a living with their artistic skill. Now let's go over this one more time. Sorry about that. So, which artwork was done as a means to get paid? I think the answer is going to be so obvious now. So, it was B. That's when he began working in the art department of the Philadelphia Inquirer. There we go. Okay, so here are the characteristics of Impressionism: modern life, visible brushstrokes, bright or vibrant colors, colorful shadows instead of black, and most importantly, capturing a moment in time. When you look at Impressionist artwork, ask yourself, what moment is the artist showing? What colors do I notice? Can I see the brushstrokes? That's it for this week. See you all next week. Don't forget to take your 2.01 quiz.